Boys.
Turn it down.
Boys. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Losers Lounge. No reaction from you,
No,
D-Line?
dude.
Chat's in rare form already, man. We haven't even started.
We are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Make sure to use the code DNVR when you sign up and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The Nuggets fall tonight to the Minnesota Timberwolves, 124-111. We're going to break it all down. I know I got a lot of takes on it. I think these guys have a couple takes that they can come up with about it.
I have one take.
Okay. I'll save that for your big takeaway. I'm Harrison Wind. That man's voice that you just heard, that's Eric Weedham. You know him as D-Line.
That's right, guys. Living the dream. Everything that we thought could happen, happened. Let's go.
Also joined by Brendan Vogt. What's up, man?
Tough vibes on our end of things. At least the Avs are down 3-1.
I don't think that helps.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah,
No, that's not
no.
good. The Avs are down 3-1. The best part of the night might have been our homies from Australia that stopped by
No,
the
maybe
bar.
that was the absolute best part of the night. Dude, the bar was popping tonight.
Yeah.
And a couple of other
And then it popped.
locales made the trip. And then it popped.
People left.
Yeah.
I said, do you want to come up and go in the studio? And they said, no, don't ever ask me.
That means it's really bad. Yeah, that's like something usually people don't turn down. Anyways, you guys want to do a fast recap?
Oh, let's make it
so
very
fast.
Talk about how we got
I just
here.
want to go. I'm just kidding.
make it
Let's
a
do that fast
post-game.
recap. This game started with really bad Nuggets defense. Minnesota was up 18-11 early, just really bad defense from the starters. Then the bench came in, kind of changed the energy of this one. All of a sudden, it was tied up at 21. Christian Brown, Zeke Naji, Vlatko Čančar, Bones Highland, Bruce Brown. Then Jamal was kind of staggering with the bench. The bench found something for a second at the end of the first, beginning of the second quarter. Nuggets starters came back in, and Denver was just missing easy shots. Jokic, Aaron Gordon, just missing bunnies at the rim. Aaron Gordon went 0-10 from the field in the first half tonight.
That was fun.
That was wild. All of them were most of those shots were at the rim. Wolves back up by 8 when the starters, had been in for a little. There was a moment late in the second quarter when you felt like Denver had some momentum. Nuggets got a great Michael Porter Jr. 3 off the Murray-Jokic two-man game. There was a cut by Jamal. Jokic fed him, kicked it out to MPJ on the wing, banged a 3. That was maybe the best possession of this game for Denver. I thought the Nuggets got caught up in the officiating in the second quarter.
Yep.
There were a lot of questionable calls. Scott Foster was on the call tonight. He was refereeing. He was the crew chief. And I felt like a couple of the calls that went against Denver, Nuggets got in their own heads.
Yep.
They were complaining about everything. They were complaining about bad calls and calls that were fine. And I just felt like it kind of affected them a little bit. They were arguing everything, lost their composure a little bit. Then Nikola Jokic got mad. Nuggets went on a little 10-3 run. Jokic had an and-one layup to bring it back to 5 points. Denver's getting stops. Jokic did pick up his third foul, had to go to the bench with a couple minutes left in the second. Denver trailed by 5 at the half. First half, Jamal Murray didn't do anything. You didn't even know he was out there. Third quarter, Jamal Murray came out on fire. Did a total 180 from the effect he had in the first half. Hit a 3, a couple nice passes. He was engaged. He was active on the offensive end and the defensive end. Denver tied this game just a couple minutes into the third quarter. But then late in the third, early in the fourth, Minnesota started to separate. Christian Brown could not get off the bench. Back-to-back Bones Highland threes with 10 minutes left in the fourth. All of a sudden, it was a 2-point game again. Jokic came back with about 8 minutes left with the Nuggets down by 8, 103-95. You felt like, all right, maybe Denver could just, get this to 5 points or so going into clutch time and then make a game of this. But then, Timberwolves got this lead back to double digits. Jokic hit a 3. Michael Porter Jr. hit a 3, but it just wasn't enough. Denver couldn't score down the stretch. They couldn't get stops down the stretch. The Nuggets looked tired. This was just an old-fashioned loss.
Yep.
I'll go for big takeaways, D-Line. You're up first. What's your big takeaway?
Listen, I can tell by the tenor and the temperature of the chat, nobody wants to hear it. But this was the most scheduled loss that the Denver Nuggets have had this season. We had an emotional letdown. We had a late travel game. They just didn't have their legs, man. Aaron Gordon looked just cooked. He was so tired. He was 0 for 10 in the first half. Jamal Murray, who we were really counting on to be this, since we did not play him last night in the huge game, instead opting to play him this night so that we could play get the more important win, the conference win. He was a complete no-show in the first half. He was 0 for 2 in the first half. He came to life in the third quarter a little bit, but just not at all enough, really from anybody. Jokic had an okay night, but not by his standards. The team was tired, and you get it. This is one of these nights, man. Back-to-backs in the NBA are they just steal money from fans. They really do.
That's a take right there.
I always feel this way.
Yeah. Vogt, what's your big takeaway?
Well, first of all, I've got to own this. I accidentally said the S word in the pregame. I wasn't even using it, and it's intended constant.
That
usage.
actually is a good point. You did.
I was just referencing
The worst
the
part
S
is that
word.
people got mad at me for it.
Well,
you're so much of an.
All I did was reference your original sin.
You're such an asshole that I got yelled at.
But moving beyond that, I think my real takeaway is we talked before the game about we did the confidence meter in the Nuggets.
Yeah.
And I think we nailed it. And tonight's what we were really articulating on the other side of the fence coming off the Boston high was talking about why they definitely earned being in the heating up, but why we weren't quite ready to go to out of control.
Yeah,
and
man.
I think this loss is a good example of why. They are not that team that's going to win 65 games, or at least they didn't play that way tonight and haven't been that way, so far this season. Is this a bad enough loss that you move them back on that meter? No. But I think it actually kind of helps highlight this team does just take their foot off the gas sometimes. And, the goal is not to win every regular season game, although they would say that going into each game on a game-to-game basis. The goal is to win in June. Having said that, I think the reason you can't go all the way with this team in terms of losing your minds and getting really excited is just they do take their feet off the gas. And as easy as that can be to explain, it's that much hard to watch,
But listen, if you're driving cross country and you're running out of gas, you take your foot off of it. They didn't have any gas. They had no gas.
and look, sometimes the very, very, very best teams do. So that is why I don't.
Every very best team does.
And
Yes.
listen, it's not. I don't think this is the worst loss in the world, but it is an annoying one, and I think it's a good example of just the hang up in terms of, okay, they did show us what gets us really excited, why we're ready to believe in this team again, but there's still more they can show us, and tonight's a good example of what they don't always do.
Yeah. You could tell they were tired tonight. Really, from the opening quarter or the opening tip, it felt like.
Yeah, the second the game started, you're like,
You just compare how they were moving last night in that first quarter against Boston to how they were moving in the first quarter tonight. There was obviously some fatigue. I mean, if we can just go over the timeline of what happened in the lead up to the game, when does that Boston game end last night?
Well, let's see.
10
When
o'clock?
was it supposed to end, or when did it end after the 45-minute delay?
Oh, that's a good point. 9:30, 10 o'clock. Then you have to do media. You have to get on the bus. You have to go to the airport. You probably don't get to Minnesota until 2 a.m. You play the game the next day. Look, I'm not trying to give excuses, but that's just the reality of the situation on a back-to-back. It's a tough schedule. Some would call it a scheduled loss. But, my takeaway from tonight is just that the defense wasn't good enough. And Minnesota is not a good offensive team. They've lost, 7 straight heading into tonight?
Yeah.
They've been losing a lot of games. They just had a players-only meeting. Minnesota has been in a tailspin. And the Nuggets just let the Timberwolves get healthy tonight. They let them get in a rhythm tonight. And Jaden McDaniels had a great game. Anthony Edwards had 29 points. Jalen Noel got most of what he wanted around the rim. And Denver's defense just wasn't good enough. And I was also confused about how last game it felt like Denver stumbled upon this great bench lineup with Aaron Gordon. And we did not see that tonight. And now I'm wondering if they only stumbled upon it because Jamal Murray did not play. And that's what I'm actually a little concerned about.
Or if no AG, what about the KCP look we've seen? And, that goes back to the Memphis game, but it was Jamal and Bruce that staggered. It was pretty weird. Or I'm sorry, Bruce was on the bench tonight. Excuse me. So it was Jamal.
KCP was also hurt a little in the
Right, so
first
that
half.
played a
I don't
part
know
of
if
it.
that
But it was
was a thing.
I thought Malone had a great game last night.
Yes,
and
he
I thought
did.
he had a bad game tonight. I thought there were a lot of great things that were uncovered and discovered, and then he just kind of went away from them. Christian Brown didn't play very much. I thought there was like you were just mentioning, a second unit that at least warranted another look, and it just wasn't really what we got tonight. So I thought it was kind of a weird night for Malone for sure.
Totally. Yeah, there was very curious decisions. The handling of Christian Brown tonight was very bizarre. Like,
let's talk about that.
You would think that, if you're talking about a team that's very beleaguered, very tired, you'd sort of lean on young, fresh legs to sort of, you were like, okay,
on
Jamal,
a back-to-back.
Yeah, Jamal, you didn't play
need
last night. We
defense.
need you. Christian Brown, you played last night, but you're, 19 years old or something. Like, you'll be okay. Get in there. Instead, we had a ton of Zeke minutes, which were not great. But that was strange. I really don't have an explanation for that at all.
I don't either, because Christian Brown, I'm sorry we're already here, like 7 minutes into the show, but Christian Brown was the Nuggets' second sub of the game tonight. Came in at the 5:55 mark of the first quarter for Jamal Murray. He had that dunk, his first touch of the game, I'm pretty sure. I tweeted about it. I thought he made a couple things happen. He was a +3 in those 3 minutes. Then he subbed out after 3 minutes for Jamal Murray and then never came back in. And I'm totally with you, D-Line. Second night of a back-to-back, you're low on energy. You just don't have that same force that you had last night. That was obvious. A guy like Christian Brown, that's exactly what he can provide.
It's a great
and he
point.
can provide defense,
It's
which you also needed
good
tonight.
point.
So that was confusing. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't play more.
I don't either. I certainly don't think that would have swung the tide of the game, but that is all right, you got to use all of the tools at your disposal when you're already at such a huge disadvantage, and he didn't. He just didn't. Like, there are nights, that I feel like in the last 3, 4, 5 games we've been sort of like in a positive Malone headspace. We've been praising his rotations. We've been praising the staggers and some of the levers he's been pulling, but tonight I don't think that he could have coached his way to winning this game. Like, the Nuggets were just that dead tired. They were just that
Potentially.
out of gas. But he just didn't he didn't put them in a position to potentially win.
Yeah, they had that great bench lineup last game featuring Aaron Gordon, and I caught a couple clips on this. I posted a tweet this afternoon, but just Aaron Gordon's size and his playmaking and his passing and like how he can handle the ball on the open floor and just his athleticism gave something to that second unit last night.
Take that down.
And they could have used that tonight.
Kale, we don't want to see the chat anymore. Can you just make us full screen? I don't want to do it. I love you guys. I can't do it.
Vogt has gone. He's gone post ankle showing. Now he's going like
No, you've taken it a little
You've
too
taken
far.
it too
Vogt.
far, dude.
Some
It's like
folks are uncomfortable.
Can you raise your leg up a little
one of the
higher?
people uncomfortable is me, Eric Weedham. D-line.
Another
to continue. Yeah.
Another storyline from tonight I thought was Jamal Murray's night. Jamal Murray goes for 14 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 to 12 shooting in 35 minutes. So if you missed yesterday's show, if you missed what happened in the Boston game, Jamal Murray was questionable going into that game. He doesn't play both games in a back-to-back as it is. The thinking was, from the Nuggets' perspective, is they held him out of that Boston game so he would be, 100%, no soreness,
Totally.
good to go tonight for this Western Conference divisional matchup. And then in the first half, Jamal Murray, you didn't even know he was out there.
He was 0 of 2.
But that's right. The 2 bothers me more than the 0. I mean,
Yeah.
that's an exaggeration, but it's
2 shots.
It's what Wind was just saying. The way he set the scene here is perfect, because if there was one guy who absolutely has to bring the energy tonight, it's Jamal. And when you look around and you see everyone in that malaise, and AJ was clearly didn't have it tonight, then 2 early fouls brings Porter off the floor, which we'll talk about later. If anyone has to look around and go, at bare minimum, I can't be lethargic tonight. I can't be tentative tonight. and it was not shot-ready Jamal. It was a bit confounding, really.
It was incredibly confounding. He came out in the third quarter, and it was like, okay, order's being restored. He's like starting to play. All right, we're getting some shots. He's engaged. But again, like, why? Why not till the second half? Like, why not start in the first half?
Yeah. Well, the Nuggets only had 53 points in the first half. And, like, that's not nearly enough for Denver if the Nuggets are going to be playing the type of defense that they played tonight.
Right.
They need to be scoring in the 60s in both halves.
Yes.
And, I mean, you looked at Jamal and you're like, bro, we need your offense right now.
Totally, man.
We only have 53 points. Like, we need you. Everybody's tired. And, yeah, that first half he was invisible. But the weirdest thing was after halftime, he played the beginning of the third quarter like he was shot out of a cannon.
Like he was riding a hot streak.
He hit a three. He was like really engaged defensively,
Like
running the pick and roll, good passes. It was a 180-degree shift, I thought.
It absolutely was. It absolutely
That's the
was.
weirdest thing about
Like,
it.
I mean, on Twitter, I buried him and then I resurrected him.
Yeah.
Just one half later. It is. This is the thing with Jamal this season. It's like so frustrating because you see glimpses.
What was different? What was different about the game in the second half?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I have no idea. Maybe he saw my tweets.
that must be it. Yeah, and listen, there's also, like, I'll raise my hand here, and it's red-handed, like red color, painted red, whatever.
What?
I'm guilty as charged of doing this as
Okay.
well. I'll tweet out that Jamal's been really bad in the third quarter, and how many times have we seen him come in the fourth and clean it up? And that's awesome.
That's been the story of a lot of games this
And
year.
that's awesome. But today was a great example of one where I think he would have been most valuable just right out of the gate, setting a different tone. And yes, I did, Marjan. I'm sorry. Marjan, excuse me.
Yeah, if
Vogt.
you really want to, you can put this entire loss not on the back-to-back,
Not on the back-to-back,
but
not
on Brendan
not the
Vogt.
travel schedule.
I'll take it.
Not the emotional letdown of the biggest win of the season.
Yes.
I also like how we took 7 minutes of the pregame to go, this is a trap game. They might lose. And everyone's mad at us. I'm like, I thought they'd lose.
Yeah, no, this
I said the word. I take the L.
like, you got if you're like really mad about this, you got to watch more seasons of NBA basketball. This is the most classic NBA game of all time. A back-to-back where a team that's been on a hot streak comes in and just looks confusingly flat, plays bad defense for some reason, almost as though defense takes energy to play at a high level. Sometimes it sucks, man. Sometimes it sucks.
Yeah. I do feel like that Boston game was obviously like 2, 3, 4 steps forward. And then this game was like 3 steps back.
This game was nothing.
And I'll explain why, because a couple games ago, or a couple weeks ago, Michael Malone was at practice and he was talking about how he had been having these conversations with the Nuggets front office about how
God damn it.
they needed to play with
Who do I
more
report?
length defensively.
Vogt's putting his ankles so close to me. Who do I tell? Do I tell you, or is this a Kale thing?
It's on
You
camera.
have to report that to
Are
our
you the
non-existent
boss?
HR department.
Yeah. Just fire me.
I'm sorry. I'm sure you're making a great point. Very distracting over here.
My jacket's not inside
Here's why
out.
I think tonight was a bit of a step back in some respects. Michael Malone was talking about how, yes, we need to play with more length defensively. I was just having these conversations with Calvin Booth, and when we have more length on the floor, and our analytics team is telling us that when we do that, our numbers are better defensively. And then we see lineups tonight where it's like Jamal and Bones and Bruce Brown. And Christian Brown plays 3 minutes.
I'm ready to sorry.
And like after he made that comment a couple weeks ago, we had a couple games where we were seeing those lineups. And then tonight was kind of a step back in that respect, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Harrison. I thought you were done.
Let's take time to apologize to one another and to everyone else in the chat. Chat, we're sorry. Brandon, I'm sorry. Harrison, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry I'm showing so much ankle.
Dude,
Sorry I'm wearing these slippers. I don't even remember what I was
it's
going
a
to say.
lot to apologize for.
You know what? I don't even remember what I was going to say.
Oh,
so there you
God.
go, Harrison. Oh, no, I remembered. And we can talk about this, I think, for a little bit. I'm ready to sell and send and ship away the Murray stagger. I'm good on that.
Let's talk about that on the other side. Let's hit a break. We need to reset for a second,
Yeah,
I think.
let's just like let it, just everyone shake it out.
Yeah.
Just like sort of take a breath, maybe get up, walk around the room a little bit.
Because I want to talk about the Murray stagger more as well. But let's hit a break first. We'll be right back.
Someone says Vogt's trying to Harrison's trying to carry the show seriously while these two just make jokes.
Yeah, because you guys, we're trying to do is calm you people down. We're trying to calm the angry seas.
I'm just trying to survive. Let's talk about Denver Health because it is time, open enrollment time for individual health plans now through January 15th. Listen, you may say to yourself, I don't need health insurance. If you think we tempted the gods in the pregame show tonight, that's tempting the medical gods.
Oh boy.
I did that once, woke up with scarlet fever. Don't recommend it. Stay covered. Don't pay out of pockets for things like life-threatening illnesses that I thought were eradicated. So, you want to check out Denver Health Medical Plan because they offer Elevate Exchange plans available on the Connect 4 Health Marketplace with great benefits and affordable plan choices. You can also call direct at 303-602-4912 and sign up online at denverhealthmedicalplan.org. Remember, open enrollment for the exchange runs November 1st to January 15th, so call today at 303-602-4912 or visit www.denverhealthmedicalplan.org. Let's talk about Game Time, too, because it's the hottest new ticketing app, and they're good friends of ours now. Well, let's be specific. They're partners of ours, baby. You can find a link to Game Time and Nuggets tickets in the description of this show, which you can see on that YouTube description or on your podcast description. And here's the deal. They have the best seats at the best prices, and sometimes folks realize late they're not going to make it to the game. You have realized late you want to go to this game.
Yeah, dude.
You're two parties that need to find each other.
Oh.
And in that way, Game Time is really a dating app. You know what I mean?
Oh, hell yeah.
You won't find a better deal this season on Nuggets tickets than Game Time. So if you love DNVR, one of the best ways to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app. Score the best seats to all your favorite events.
Let's go.
All right, we back?
We're back, dude.
We are back.
Let's get back into this mess.
Let's get back into
Is Jamal back?
X's and O's, advanced analytics, and graphs and charts. And we're back here on the DNVR Nuggets post-game lounge, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use the code DNVR when you sign up and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Talking about this Nuggets loss, 124-111 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Vogt, right before you read those reads, you were talking about Jamal Murray staggering with the bench. And we saw that again tonight. I don't think the results were great. What's your overall take on that decision right now?
To me, it's just a sort of weird allocation of resources, particularly if Jamal's going to be like stagnant. Is that a fair word? He's not very aggressive. Like when he's with that unit, you might think, okay, here comes a lot of like a burst of Jamal points or whatever, and the ball's going to be in his hands. And he seems pretty deferential out there with that unit. And to me, what that does then, if he's not bringing offense, he's taking away from what, in my opinion, is the best dynamic they've had defensively on the second unit this year. And that's either with KCP or AG, maybe preferably the latter, staggered in alongside Zeke, Christian, and Vlatko, just for the defensive versatility. And then for Bones, it's Bones surrounded by defenders. Maybe you get stops. Maybe you get to run and play in space instead of that janky half-court stuff. I just don't know what the point of Jamal plus Bones is if Jamal's not going to shoot a ton. And to me, he hasn't been.
Yeah. I mean, when Jamal's been out there with the bench, he's just getting in some good cardio.
Right.
That's what it seemed like to me.
Kind of. He's not even really getting great cardio. He's kind of jogging back up and down.
Yeah,
he was just standing in the corner. Like not, he wasn't like, just nothing. Just completely disengaged.
It's like if you're going to play Jamal Murray 35 minutes, and I've already been on record, I think he's playing too many minutes this season. But playing him with the bench, that just seems like a waste of his minutes to me. It really does. At least with how that unit is working right now. Because he's sharing the floor with Bones Highland during those minutes. Bones Highland dribbles the ball like 80% of the time when he's out there with the second unit. That means Jamal's just standing in the corner on the wing. There's not a lot of passing. There's just not a lot of ball movement. Vlatko Čančar seems like the only guy who's willing to like move and try to set a screen and cut and try to like do a basketball thing when Bones Highland is dribbling the ball. And so right now it just seems like those minutes are a waste to have Jamal out there. And he's not meshing with that group. And I don't know if that's something that's on Bones Highland, on the coaching staff, just on everybody. But it just seems like they're wasting his minutes, like I've said.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're just a stats person, like there's just nothing. It was just an absolute zero from Jamal in those minutes. And it is bizarre. Like we've talked about, like, is there like a weird dynamic when Bones and Jamal are on the court? Like it makes Jamal too deferential. Like it makes him Bones becomes the alpha and Jamal. I don't know any of that. I don't know what's going on other than Jamal did not exist when Bones was on the court running the show. You would think that those two could provide like a pretty like dynamic 1-2 punch, like a Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum type situation if they were so inclined. And again, I don't know if this is coaching or I don't know if it's just like they start off in that formation and then it's sort of on the players to read and react, and Jamal was just not engaged.
I just feel like they don't run anything.
Yeah,
they just pretty much give the ball to Bones Highland and it's just run, pick, and roll. And then you have Vlotko like trying to run around and make stuff happen, and that's it. They're not like running a real offense, I feel like.
No, so then follow up, just throw your best and most athletic defenders out there and get a group that maybe can cause a little havoc and run a little bit, because the half court's just so sticky.
The crazy thing though about this game, like as frustrating it is, and looking back, and there's so many obvious things that at least seem obvious that were handled incorrectly. The Nuggets were well within striking distance coming down into the clutch, and then they just flat ran out of gas.
Yeah, there's your big talent deficit, right, doing its thing, but they just didn't execute.
I mean, the game was not out of reach by any stretch. Like with about 4 minutes left, it was a 2-possession game, and then then your big guns were out, and they just did what players on a back-to-back that traveled across the country do. They just completely fell apart. They let Anthony Edwards, they let the team with the fresher legs kind of do whatever they want, and they lost. That's what happens.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Nikola Jokic tonight, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists in 33 minutes. He was our DraftKings Sportsbook King of the game.
Look at that.
Not a lot of competition for DraftKings Sportsbook King of the game tonight, even though I don't think this was a great Jokic game by any means. The most important stat of Jokic's night, I think, 10 of 20 from the field. That's 50% for all you math majors out there.
Hell yeah.
He keeps his streak alive of consecutive 50% field goal shooting games and has still only shot under 50% from the field in one game this season.
Insanity.
It's insane. Like even on a mediocre game tonight against Rudy Gobert, who, by the way, Nikola Jokic has Rudy Gobert so figured out.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even funny. Jokic missed a lot of bunnies tonight. I think I was talking about it in the quick recap. He just missed a lot of easy ones.
He did.
He got upset with the officials. He didn't get any calls tonight. I mean, how many free throws did he shoot? 4? Yeah. He shot the same amount of free throws as Rudy Gobert.
Luka Garza got a bunch, though, so that was cool.
There's the Luka game.
Yeah. A mediocre night from Jokic. I mean, I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, it wasn't his best game. It's he's held obviously to an unfair standard because he is so transcendent. He's so great. He is an all-time player. He did about as much as he could do, but he was not without fault tonight. He was sloppy. Yeah. He was tired. The man was tired. What do you want to do?
I also think it was Jamal was just getting cardio out there. AG couldn't hit anything. And I was going to make this point earlier. The starter who looked the most encouraging offensively was Porter, who gets taken off the floor with 2 quick fouls, only logs 27 minutes. And sometimes with Porter, once a streak ends, it feels like we never see him again.
Totally.
And I felt like it looked early like he was up to impact this game. And this is very easy to say in hindsight. Like, it pretty standard. Guys come out after 2 quick fouls. I wish he hadn't in hindsight. I thought he gave the starters a dynamic they needed tonight, and I wish he could have played more and got more shots up. I feel like it could have helped swing some key moments.
Well, sure. I mean, they needed offense tonight, definitely. 18 points for Porter, 6-9 shooting. He hit 4 threes. I mean, an ultra-efficient night. Didn't really do much else, just 2 rebounds, no assists. But I'll have to go back and watch when he got taken out and kind of what the vibe was at that point. But
Are you sure you want to go back and watch?
I probably won't. On paper, it looks, like a solid night from him.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon tonight, though. 12
he had
points,
a rough night, man.
4 of 18 shooting. I mentioned earlier he went 0 of 10 in the first half from the field.
He had 12 offensive rebounds. So
12 offensive rebounds?
a lot of the guys, there's 3 spurts where he had 4 misses and rebounds.
Oh, dude, he got blocked by Rudy
Yeah.
Gobert like 12 times today.
And then kept getting back his rebound and really wanted to finish the play, but just couldn't.
Yeah, I give Aaron Gordon a pass for tonight.
Oh, full on.
Me too. I think
He played
he's
his ass off last night, defended Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for most of that game, was great with the starters and the second unit. So, out of anybody, I give him a pass. And we talked about this on the pregame show. He played 37 minutes last night. That's at the upper level of what he plays. He usually doesn't hit the high 30s, so I wasn't going to be surprised if he was a little off tonight.
Yeah, 37 high impact, high energy minutes last night.
Yeah. But that's another takeaway. The starters just weren't good enough, especially defensively and even offensively. Just a subpar night from the starters, and that's going to be tough to win when they're in that big of negatives.
And there's one player that finished in the positive on a Nuggets uniform. I'm surprised you haven't said it yet. Actually.
Was there?
You want to say it or me?
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it.
It was DeAndre Jordan. No, it was Christian Brown.
Christian Brown. Wow.
All 3 minutes and 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just got outplayed, out-efforted, out-executed down the stretch tonight, and those things do happen across 82. But I think it's fair to sort of look at it through the lens, again, of that confidence board and just say, feel good about the team, but there's room for improvement. There's headroom.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we saw the other supposed best team in the NBA, the Boston Celtics, come in, look flat as a pancake last night against the Denver Nuggets, but they were playing with high energy. They weren't playing on a back-to-back. To me, there are no indictments to be had tonight. Like they're going to play the next game after being rested, and then everyone's going to be like, "Oh man, the Nuggets are good again." And it's like, no, that's like, come on, man. Like,
right.
You got to be realistic here. We're not watching 2K. This is not a computer simulation. These are human beings that have to when I sat down to watch this game, I was like, oh my God, like my eyes are tired from last night. Like
We're tired on
my
the back
thumbs
to
are
back.
tired. Like the idea of going in and watching this game felt exhausting. I can't imagine what these guys went through to actually go through and play the game.
Yeah.
And, they're paid handsomely for this, and it's all right for a fan to want to see a win and be annoyed by this effort.
No, but you got to be realistic.
It does happen, right? It does happen.
That happens all the time.
Yeah. We can talk about a couple guys on the bench here. Bones Highland, 18 points, led all scorers off the bench, 7 to 12. He hit 4 threes, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 2 steals. He was a minus 15, though. I didn't feel like Bones was that bad. I just feel like he was a minus 15 because he got killed defensively and the Nuggets didn't play defense when he was on the floor.
Well, also, yeah, he played a lot with Zeke Naji, who was getting killed. He played a lot with.
This was a rough Zeke night.
Bones played with a lot of different lineups. Bones early on was getting in passing lanes. He was making steals. He was playing with energy. He was playing. Bones was about the only person that had any jump tonight. But yeah, he ended up with minus 18 or whatever.
Minus 15.
Minus 15, but at the same point in time, he was the second leading scorer. I don't remember during the game just watching Bones getting just absolutely killed on defense. More often than not, I was like, oh, wow, that's a good contest. He's whatever. But
yeah. No, watching the game, I was thinking he was having a good night.
His first stint, he was pretty active in terms of passing lanes.
Yeah.
A couple deflections, maybe did get the 1 steal, I think, 2 or 3 deflections. I thought offensively, Bones was good tonight.
He was.
He was. It's a
He
good
was great
example.
offensively.
18 points is nothing to sneeze at.
It's a good example of why when I'm doing player grades, I don't just check the plus minus column.
Yeah.
There's more to the picture than that. It was not a perfect night from Bones. You could definitely find some lowlights defensively, but that's true of just about everyone that took the floor tonight. including, the very best players. So he wasn't alone in that regard, wasn't a perfect game, but I think you count this one. I think he ultimately did play good defensively or better. This is in his string of games of improvement, right?
Yeah,
this is another one notch for Bones of digging himself out of that December hole that was pretty deep.
Yeah. Zeke Naji has been a lock for rotation minutes over these last couple of games. He's been in there.
He had a rough game.
I feel like he's been playing well. He did not play well tonight. 12 minutes, 3 points, 1 of 3 shooting. He missed a 3 tonight. It was the first shot he took in the game, I think, and he almost broke the backboard on that 3. That was a big miss. Then he stepped up to the free throw line, bricked his first free throw as well. 2 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 2 fouls. Where are you at in the Zeke Naji experience, Brendan Vogt?
With Zeke so far, there's been more positive impact in terms of what it allows these units to do than it is Zeke is playing well. You go he hasn't had a lot of great moments, certainly has not had a lot of great box scores. Now, I have liked the looks of bench lineups that include him because of what he can do defensively, because he moves quicker than DeAndre Jordan. But I do think there is a being honest with ourselves about how well he's actually playing when he's been on the floor, and more than fair to say you could use more rebounding. The shot, I can't believe someone looked at Zeke Naji in the NBA and thought, let's just change the jumper.
We used to talk about how his jumper looked like it came out of a machine.
Shoot out of a phone booth, Wind used to say, and it looks pretty bad right now. And look, maybe, okay, you changed mechanics and that needs reps, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why did they touch that shot? So I think it's okay to look at Zeke and say, I want more out of you, even if you do like the look that he gives this team. Tonight he wasn't very good.
God, he was terrible tonight.
Yeah.
Zeke was terrible tonight.
He was.
There were so many moments where just like a horribly embarrassing thing happened, and it was at the expense of Zeke Naji. I mean, I am absolutely in Zeke's corner. Like, I want to see him do well. I do believe that he has a lot of untapped potential. I can't believe how bad his jump shot looks right now, especially where it started from. But he was just deeply ineffective. He got a couple tough rebounds, but then those
only those though.
Yeah,
but
then those became comical at the
Right,
end.
right.
It was he was on the ground a lot. I mean, my God. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've got no explanation for him. It's not like he played a lot last night either.
I would feel
He played the same amount of minutes last night.
I would feel so much better if he was just securely grabbing rebounds, and he really seems to struggle with that. It's crazy. Look at Zeke's college numbers. He was a very good rebounder, and he has not been an impactful rebounder at the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where I'm at in the Zeke Naji experience. I really want him to be good, but
Yes.
the more I watch him, the more I just wonder if there's
If it's ever
actually
going to happen, right?
anything there that is going to help this team.
For Zeke Naji, it feels like the conditions have to be perfect.
That's a good point.
If he's putting his ankles near me again. Do you do? Okay, go. No, if it's the right matchup,
If
it's not
he's
too big
playing
of a guy,
the
then
4 next to a rim protector and is the 4th option and can get pick and pop threes.
yes, there are situations that absolutely call for Zeke's skill set and Zeke's body type and Zeke's everything. But tonight was just absolutely not one of them. And when it looks like when you find yourself watching a game like this where he's just getting bodied and out hustled and everything, you're you just see the deficiency. You just see what's not there.
Yeah.
And it sucks because again, this is a game where Zeke Naji should be take the opportunity to really put his stamp on a game and show the coaching staff why he deserves more minutes, why it is this conversation still happens about why he's not getting in the game.
Well, it's because DeAndre Jordan's that bad. That's why we have the conversation about Zeke Naji that we do.
And because the team is more than willing to start the conversation in the offseason. You heard a lot about how
the training camp MVP,
how ready he had to go he was, and not a lot of looks. And to the point you're making, there's some examples of maybe why Malone wasn't super gung ho of throwing him out there right away.
Yeah,
but then why is there all that noise? So it's tough. And Zeke's flashes have been much better than it feels like with how we're talking about him now, but I think you guys are kind of hit the nail on the head with how fickle it seems in terms of getting the circumstances right.
It's just like I've watched Zeke play in the rotation the last week or so. I think he's had some really good moments. I definitely think he's better than DeAndre Jordan. I think if the Nuggets want to win that game, Zeke Naji's going to give them a better shot at doing that than DeAndre Jordan. That being said, I just haven't seen what I've needed to see to feel comfortable with him playing important minutes in the playoffs. And I mean, if he's not going to be doing that this season, Nuggets should trade him this year.
He also has gotten among the worst deals, the rawest deals for guys that have been in Denver, which is, look, most of this is just playing with Jokic, but I think we can say done a fair job developing guys, identifying guys, helping them reach the rotation level. Yes, there are guys who have left Denver and exploded. Bol is the poster child example. But Denver's done a good job of putting guys into good situations, and Zeke is not one of those guys, right? For as much as I don't think he played well tonight, and there are a lot of questions about him, he has not had a lot of run or consistent run or plays with different lineups a lot, and it's a tough situation, and it's just weird. I didn't think the Zeke tenure would go the way
Dude,
it did.
It is weird. But and again, like I can't kill anybody for tonight, but it's just one of these things where it's like, man, this was an opportunity for you when the majority of the team was just clearly like not able to perform. Like it's like moments like these that you want unexpected people to step up and take the reign, like an Austin Rivers game, like like these games where you have some guy go off that you weren't expecting. And he's clearly didn't get that from anybody, but you just want the guy when he gets the opportunity to show why anyone should fight for him.
Let's hit another break. We'll hit super chats on the other side, jump around the association as well. Some big games to get to and around the association tonight.
Let's go.
Have you even checked, or did you just say that, like, reflexively?
I'm just assuming.
Yeah. There were, though, Harrison. There were. So buckle up. Whether you're feeling a little hungover after a tough win, just the vibes were too high, or you're just
relate.
You're just really sad after a loser's lounge.
Can relate.
You got to start the next day the right way.
How's
and the
that?
right way to start any day is with Athletic Greens. That's why I use them literally every day. Because why keep track of all these different vitamins and pills?
Who's got time for this?
No one makes lists anymore. Written notes, not a chance. Don't keep track of all that stuff. Just get everything you need. 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens.
Yeah, well, you going to go to the store and buy adaptogens?
No, you just get 1 scoop of AG, dump it into 12 ounces of cold water, and you're set for the day. Make your nails shiny, up your gut health.
Ding, ding, ding.
Really just put yourself in a great spot. Take advantage of the ultimate daily nutritional insurance that is Athletic Greens. And Athletic Greens is making it easy for you by giving you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase.
Oh, hell
So
yeah.
whether you're at home base in Denver or on the road in Belgrade,
Oh.
you can start your day with Athletic Greens.
You know who could have used some AG tonight?
Who's that?
AG.
Ah, well said.
Thanks, bro.
Well said. Eric, how do we do on the old DraftKings app tonight?
Well, none of the Nuggets played well, and we bet on the Nuggets, so I'll let you fill in the blanks.
Not well?
Well, Nikola Jokic did hit a three-pointer. That was one of my bets.
Yeah, that was
That
clutch.
hit. Nikola Jokic was to score 24.5 points. He scored 24. So that's an L.
Wow.
Okay, so it didn't go great
That's a
for
bad
Eric.
beat, as they say in the
That is a
business.
bad beat.
But it might go better for you if you find your unit, bet responsibly, and have a lot of fun with DraftKings Sportsbook because it's that time of the year. And DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NBA. And as I was just alluding to, the NBA is heating up.
Oh,
lot
it's
of-
on fire!
Nuggets, I was going to say rounding into form if you just close your eyes and pretend that didn't happen. Donovan Mitchell scoring. I don't want to blow around the association. But there are plenty of reasons to get skin in the game with DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Use promo code DNVR when you sign up because if you do, you can turn a $5 pregame moneyline bet into $150 in free bets if your team wins. That's pretty cool. Plus, everyone can combine multiple bets for a bigger payout with DraftKings same-game parlays. Maryland sports fans, this applies to you too. You can get in on the fun with us. And I just got a DM. I should probably move the gnome. It's an unfortunate place. I'm going to do that. Download DraftKings Sportsbook. Use promo code DNVR. And minimum age and eligibility restrictions do apply.
I love that most things
See
about
show notes for details.
That's hilarious.
All right. All right. We are back here on the DNVR Nuggets post-game lounge presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use the code DNVR when you sign up and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Harrison Wynn, Eric Weedham, Brendan Vogt here. Nuggets fall tonight 124-111 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Nuggets now have a little homestand.
Let's
Another
go.
little homestand.
Lit.
I wonder if they magically look good again on the homestand.
Thursday, they've got the Clippers. Friday, another back-to-back. They've got the Cavs, the red-hot Cavs. We'll get to them in a second. Then on Monday, they have the Lakers. Then on the Wednesday, January 11th, the Nuggets welcome in our friends, the Phoenix Suns.
Let's freaking go, dude.
Our good friends.
Dude, no one in the world down more bad than the Phoenix Suns right now. Holy smokes.
Hey, man, they're missing a key guard.
That's a great point. They're missing two starters.
They're down some.
They're missing two starters.
And listen, man, it can make it tough to play at your best.
I don't think
when
so.
you're missing a key player.
Two?
Isn't that right, Phoenix?
Should we go around the association?
Let's
guys?
do it.
Let's go around the A here. Let's start in
First
Cleveland.
off, can we just complain about the fact that there's going to be another back-to-back this week?
Sure,
Yeah, sure.
let's complain.
Why? NBA, why? Why?
Do you think if the NBA just eliminated back-to-backs, players would stop resting?
No. I don't think that at all, but I think that they would put out a better product.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. In Cleveland, the Cavs beat the Bulls 145-134 in overtime. Donovan Mitchell
I heard he played well.
had 71 points.
Did you say 71?
71 points.
What is, dude, the NBA is absurd.
The NBA is so drunk right now. It needs to go home.
Every night, it's like some guy scored something you've never heard of before.
Some
Every
guy
night.
did something that hasn't been done since Wilt.
Dude, Wilt,
That's every night.
Wilt is not, he's uncomfortable now. The NBA is coming for him.
Vogt had a great tweet today where he was like, it was something along the lines of, here's what you get when you follow Nikola Jokic's career. You get to understand the culture of Serbia, and you get just a whole rundown and deep dive on Wilt Chamberlain's
Wilt
career.
Chamberlain.
I'm on the Wilt Chamberlain beat
Yeah.
here in Denver.
A constant reminder of Wilt Chamberlain's career
Right.
stats.
You're just, wow, he did this, and he did this, and this, and this. Anyways, Donovan Mitchell, 71 points tonight. That's a ridiculous game, and he had 11 assists. That's
Dude,
crazy.
No, we know Booker had 70, Nelson. Guess what? He lost. They took timeouts to get it to 70. Donovan Mitchell came back from down 25.
Yeah, man.
25.
That puts Booker's game to shame.
Oh.
Man.
That's crazy.
Who do you guys think, like as far as the Gobert-Mitchell split goes?
Yeah,
won?
who do we think got the better deal of
Who's
that?
looking better on
Dude,
the other
the crazy
end?
thing is that you remember when Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell were trading
Yes.
50-point games?
Yes.
Things have changed. Those two have gone in opposite directions, I would say.
They have. They have.
We just need
One
Jamal Murray.
did tear his
Jamal,
ACL,
get
one
healthy.
didn't.
Be right. Get right again. Get back in the schedule. Jamal Murray used to fight. He used to be Devin Booker, Jamal Murray,
Yep.
Donovan Mitchell.
Yep.
All three of those players were in the exact same place, and Jamal has just fallen so far off. We know the reason. All the same, please get back there, bro. Please.
Yep, we all want him to get back there for sure. In New York at Madison Square Garden,
New York.
the New York Knicks beat the Phoenix Suns 102-83, and it wasn't even that close.
Bing bong.
The Phoenix Suns had 11 points in the first quarter.
They had
20 points in the second quarter.
They had 33 points with 9 minutes remaining in the third.
Yo.
This is all we have for tonight. Is all we can do is laugh at others. It's a full Schadenfreude lounge.
I really don't think Phoenix ever recovered from that Game 7 loss.
Well, I mean,
They
if
clearly
you, I mean, if
haven't.
you want to know what's wrong with Phoenix is that their rise was false and it was based all on Chris Paul, and Chris Paul has now fallen the F
But
off.
Chris Paul was amazing during
but
those
I'm
he
saying,
was.
years.
He was.
I'm saying, but like from them to go from not in the playoffs to the first seed in one cycle is false. That's not. And then they were completely reliant on Chris Paul, and now he's no longer. So
Chris Paul was a minus 38 tonight,
minus 38.
but his jersey was tucked in, so that's all that matters.
Good
No
job.
technical.
Yeah.
Good job.
He followed the rules.
Let's see. What else do we got
Can we talk
here?
about the Pelicans?
Let's talk about the Pelicans.
Because if the Nuggets ate such a horrible, tough loss, that's so excruciating.
No good teams lose this way, right?
The Pelicans lost in Philly to the 76ers, 120-111.
That's nice.
Joel Embiid had 42. Big
Not
game
as
from
nice.
him.
Yeah.
James Harden, 27. It's a good win for Philly. They've been
That is
playing
a good
well.
one. They have been playing well.
The Brooklyn Nets got
good result
another
for us.
win over a bad team. That's the thing. Okay, I commend the Brooklyn Nets for this now 12-game winning streak. It's really, really hard to win 12 games in a row in the NBA, no matter the competition. For everybody saying they're like championship contenders, just look who they've beaten over this stretch. It's not the most impressive.
They have some good wins in there. They do.
They have a couple. They beat the Spurs tonight, 139-103. Kevin Durant, nice game. Kyrie Irving, nice game. Yada, yada, yada. Luka Doncic, 39 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. A bit of an off game from him. And the Dallas Mavericks beat the Houston Rockets, 111-106. And in Charlotte, the Lakers won. LeBron James had 43 points. The Lakers 16-21, though. And if we go to, let me see if there are any other finals here. Indiana beat Toronto 122-114. Nothing really
Oh, yeah, that's
big to
right.
talk about there.
Zion left that game with a hamstring injury, right?
Yeah, Zion got hurt again.
Man, that's tough.
Good call, Daniel.
And then the 2
That
games
is
still
tough.
going on, or 3 games still going on. Golden State up on Atlanta, Portland up on Detroit, Clippers down to Miami. Should we hit some super chats?
Please.
Let's hit some super chats here. All right. Can you make that screen a little bigger, Cal?
James Davis says positive vibes, $10 super
Thank
chat.
you.
MPJ actually dunked again today.
Let's go.
He did. Ryan Trost coming in. Losers Lounge, real ones, press like. Did Vogt jinx in pregame officially? Yes.
This
he
could
did.
be called the back-to-back loss in Minnesota. It could also be called the Jinx
The jinx loss.
game by Brendan.
Well, I agreed with everybody. The sky is falling. And the Nuggets they have fallen all the way to number 1 in the West.
But I am still sorry. Landon Wright, $5 super chat. Every time I get to see the Nuggets in Minnesota, somehow the Wolves role players go off. Are all of the Wolves good?
Yes.
I blame D-line.
What the hell?
I'm so glad you're here. Oh, God. A real,
What a bunch of horse shit.
real lightning rod next to me here.
Which is crazy because, I mean, look at
I know,
it looks as
man.
though-
I can't believe I'm
anyone
skating
who
for
saw
you
the
either.
movie Powder should know that will not be safe
it
in a
looks
lightning
like
field.
you're wearing a mitten on your foot.
That's what I'm doing, just to be clear. It's awesome. The Oso Blanco,
damn
$2
it.
to say, I wanted to win. Is that a quote?
I wanted to win, too.
Is that a reference? Or do they always put quote marks around the...
Always quote
Oh,
marks.
so you just said he wanted to win. Dude, that's totally fine.
I wanted to
With
win,
you,
too.
man. I'm annoyed that they didn't.
Yep.
Luke Cunningham, $10. Took my 4-year-old to her first ever game tonight. All night she kept telling anyone who listened, Nikola Jokic is the top human.
Hell yeah.
Win
Your
or lose.
4-year-old was saying that?
We love these nuggets.
Yes.
Thanks,
My God,
fellas.
we need to get her on the show.
What a great parent.
Luke, thank you. And
The future
you
member of
probably
the DNVR
shouldn't
Nuggets
let your daughter
podcast.
listen to this show.
Unbelievable.
Thank you. Grow 'em young, you know what I mean? Drunk philosophy, sloppy play. It happens looking forward to Thursday. Good game.
How does the drunkest person in the chat have the most
Measured take.
measured take of the night?
Yeah.
Drunk philosophy might be onto something.
He's
Drunk
dr-
philosophy's on a heater.
I think he's more philosophical than drunk tonight.
$5 from Jacob Christensen. The Jamal stagger is completely pointless. Probably makes them worse because there's too small defensively with Bruce Brown at the 3.
Yep.
Strong agree.
Didn't work tonight. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah,
It
they
hasn't
got to
worked.
change up something big if they're going to.
Ryan coming back
playing
around
that.
to apologize. No, you don't have to apologize, Ryan. You're right.
You were right. Yeah, actually,
Keep that money.
do it again and take back the take back.
Yeah.
Tough night for the Nuggets.
Wait, can I-
124-111, they fall to Minnesota.
Can I ask you guys a really quick question before we get out of here?
Please.
I'd love it.
We touched on it in the pregame. Who do you think let's say top 5 teams, tier 1 in the NBA.
Wow, are we going to start this now?
Just real quick, right? Just real quick on the way
Tier
out.
1
Should
of the
we get
NBA.
out that graphic?
Who do we think are the best teams in the league right now?
I think the best teams in the league are the Nets, the Denver Nuggets, the Grizzlies. I don't know. Are the Grizzlies the top? They seem very fraudulent to me.
I mean, the Celtics, I think, are in there. They
Yes.
got to be in there. So Celtics are in there.
They're
You
5
mean
and
the team
5
that
in
got
their last
waxed
10.
last night by the Denver Nuggets?
I know that they're like trending down, but that's after being absurd to open.
No,
the
I know.
season.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to provide important context to those angry in the chat.
Oh,
What's that last super chat?
6 games in 8 days, 6-2 in that span, still number 1. Minnie was desperate. Denver will have a few more like this, but we're fine. Bones is better, and rotations are close to perfect. Deep breaths.
Close to perfect. Keyword.
Thank you
Close
for that
to perfect.
super chat.
And I
Yes.
demand perfection.
Chat says Brooklyn, Denver Nuggets, Pelicans, Celtics, Golden State.
Tier 1, the Bucks keep losing and losing. What do you guys? Are you paying attention? The Bucks are.
They may
the
be in
Bucks-
that tier, but
Might
they're not
implode
the-
this year.
Yeah, the Bucks
There
might be in the
a
worst shape
big
of everybody.
trade in Milwaukee. Not including Giannis.
Anyway, I say all that to say because I still think in either conference, neither team has made enough of a statement for you to feel like, oh, I know who's winning this year.
No, the most beautiful thing about this season is that there's not a team that you're like, well, we're in the middle of another dynasty. This is one of those times where a
4-2
page
in
could
their
be
last 6,
could be
not
turning.
6.
Like
Yeah.
It's
we
when
don't
a
have
dynasty could start.
the dynasty maybe in Denver.
CeeLo correcting himself, 4-2 in their last 6. Still good though. More super chats last second. Drunk Philosophy, the last super chat. Come on now. But no, because Gordon Gleisner,
let's
Gleisner,
go.
Gordon, our
dude.
guy.
paying money to echo what our homie CeeLo said. Good looking out, Gordon.
Yes. Kale, you can start that outro music probably. Oh, it's been going.
Hasn't been going the whole show.
Kale's trying to get us out of here. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Only the diehards tune in on nights like tonight, so thank you for
Yes,
riding
we love
with
you.
us.
Listen, we got a little contentious. We love you. I love people that care enough about watching the Denver Nuggets. Listen, it's about emotion. You're supposed to be emotional.
This is true, too.
I believe in my heart, in my soul, the sole purpose of sports in this world is to exercise bad emotions in human beings, to put emotions that don't serve you in real life into something that is ultimately without consequence. That is sports. Good job. Work it out. Keep perspective.
We'll be back here tomorrow with another show.
We've got a super chat off.
Gordon, finish what? We'll be back tomorrow with another show. Thank you guys for tuning in. We love you.
you.
Have a good night. Talk to you then.
Let's go.